So hello everybody, my name is Samuel, and welcome to A Link to the Past randomizer, where all the items are completely randomized, and we're not going to get anywhere without, playing the game. So, first few minutes, not much to talk about. That first chest usually has the lamp in it, but as you may have noticed, that's a heart container. So all the items in the game are completely randomized. You don't have items in the same spot. There's still the chance you'll run into items in their original locations, but the odds of that happening are very low. I've had it happen many a time, but I can't guarantee it will happen this time, so... First beginning section of the game plays like normally. You'll walk over here into the train and do this. And I actually had it preset so that I always get the sword from Link's uncle, but I don't get the shield, so if you don't enable the sword, it automatically gives you a weapon of some kind. And I got another weapon. You may have noticed that that guard dropped a bomb, and that's another thing. All the enemy drops from this game are also randomized, so you get random drops from enemies as well. And we're going to see how that works. And that's right, that tree pole is not active until after you complete the escape sequence. So yeah, enemies will randomly drop things, so that's things. Every enemy in the game, if I remember correctly, has a 50% chance to drop something. So, and since all the items in each item pool, which is the list of items that a particular type of enemy can drop, all the items are randomized in the pools, and the enemies that are linked to each pool are randomized as well. So, we'll have to see how well this works out for me. I already got one bomb, so that's the bare minimum I'm going to need to get some items that would ordinarily be locked until I get the power gloves or the lamp. So you got the map. Dungeon-specific items like maps, compasses, keys, and big keys are all guaranteed to still be in their original dungeon. But items like rupees, key items, bombs, arrows, all sorts of other stuff like that are in their own pool. I forgot that I had the sword. Ah! I suck at this game. Ow! Okay. Moving on. I'm an idiot. Okay. Moon Pearl. That's a really handy item to get. With that, the hammer and some gloves, I can get into the Dark World straight off the bat. So we'll see what other items I get along the way. Okay. Ball and chain guard. Simply throw 2 pots at it and it will kill him. And there we go. And Ether Medallion. Another kind of useful item. I've never really used it except for unlocking the dungeons that may be locked behind it. That's another thing. Medallion dungeons, the ones that require medallions to get in, Misery Mine and Turtle Rock. The medallion that's required is randomized as well, so there's that. So he just walks over back to the thing. Like I said, this whole section's basically the same as the original, just the items are randomized. So, you might get something cool, you might not. So far, we've gotten pretty good items. Now, normally you'd be required to have the lamp to go through here because the room would be too dark. But because the randomizer knows that odds are you're not going to have the lamp for this particular run, it temporarily lets you have the lamp. So technically I have the lamp, even though it's not in my inventory. But once I leave this segment and get into Sanctuary, I will no longer have the lamp. So it lets us go through the dark areas of this particular area early. That chest is guaranteed to have a key, as long as you're playing on standard mode where you have to go through the escape section. One of the enemies in that room has a key in it that it will always drop that lets you get into the next room. Heart container, magic cape, nice, and the hook shot. Wow. So normally this room you wouldn't be able to get into because enemies don't drop bombs in the default game during this section. So getting into that room would normally be impossible, and in the original game it just has a bunch of junk. It's not even necessary to go into that room. But I had bombs. So the magic cape is really handy because it lets us temporarily become invisible and invincible for draining our magic meter. And it also lets you avoid, it lets you walk through areas that you're not supposed to be able to walk through normally. And then we got the hook shot, which has the ability to pull us along to any stone, wooden, any hookshot designated locations. And it looks like that. It also can stun enemies. The stun drop is randomized, so we know now that every time I stun and then kill an enemy while it's stunned, it will always drop a heart. So if I'm low on health, that's something to consider. So just like in the normal game, you leave Sanctuary, and the first thing you want to do is head up to the Lost Woods, get the two items that are up here, which are normally a heart piece and the magic mushroom, but they're going to be probably different this time. I say probably because they might still be here. Master Sword. Oh, what are the odds? You get the Master Sword at the beginning of the game. Yep, we got the Master Sword before we even got the Fighter Shield. Okay. Tweeples are randomized as well. Blue rupees are a nice tweeple to have, but getting like bombs from a tweeple is even better. Because right now we're out of bombs, and my only hope is to get enough rupees to buy bombs, which I do have them enough right now because I got that 20 rupee. And then, or that I find bombs in the first few chests I check. I tend to like checking the well in Kakariko because that has 4 items straight off the bat. It's easy to access. One of the items is locked behind a bomb wall, but the odds that you'll get bombs in the first 4 chests are pretty high. If not, then you can always just leave, go get bombs, and come back. So that's what I typically tend to do. Cane of Brenna. That works basically the same as Magic Cape, it just doesn't let you walk through areas you're not supposed to be able to walk through. Heart piece, get 4 of those, and we get another heart container. And so the only really handy thing in there was the Cane of Brenna, and it's not really that handy because I never use it. I always just use the Magic Cape because it does basically the exact same thing. So we're going to go to the shop here, and we're going to go buy some bombs, and we're going to use them. 10 bombs, 50 rupees. It's pretty handy. There's a way to fill your bombs back up if you just happen to have one bomb. There's a building in the bottom left corner of Kakariko Village where you can just bomb it and it'll open a secret passageway where there's a bunch of bomb drops inside. Ice Rod! So we got both of the magic rods, the fire and ice rod. The fire rod's stronger, but the ice rod has its own uses. Okay. So, got this. I'm going to try and show you an interesting little clip here. Okay, that's very interesting. I think I broke the game. I can't drop the chicken. I've got an invisible chicken in my hands and I can't drop it. What? I've never had that happen before. Okay. Okay. Okay, that happened. Okay. Well, I guess I'm not showing you that clip. The clip I was trying to show you was if you pick up a chicken and throw it into the bomb explosion in the wall, you actually throw the chicken through the wall, which is interesting. It's hilarious to see it happen. But I think that was a bit more hilarious, getting the chicken, picking up an invisible chicken that no longer exists, and just failing so hard, because I couldn't walk through a door with the invisible chicken on my head, and I couldn't throw the chicken. I couldn't get rid of it. Oh boy. This run is doomed. Another heart container. At least this is a very healthy seed. That stupid chicken clip though. Okay. Oh yeah, I already checked this item. Yeah. Okay, well now I'm gonna head back into the chicken house and get the item that I couldn't get earlier due to invisible chicken. I think the problem is my game is lagging a slight bit because the recording program I'm using lags it a bit. And so it's not enough to ruin the audio quality. You guys may see some of the lag that's going to be going on, but there's really nothing I can do about it because my computer is a wimpy computer when it comes to recording, apparently. Either that or this recording program just really isn't installed right or something. It might be a setting I need to change. But the game's lagging a bit, especially in rooms where there's more things for it to load, like more enemies and stuff. And so what happened was it lagged when I went to pick up the chicken because of the explosion going off, and the chicken somehow managed to move out of the way of my grab, but the game didn't realize it, so it still played the grabbing animation, and left Link in a state as though he was holding something, even though the game knew he wasn't actually holding anything, and because of that, it just wouldn't let him throw it because the game thinks he's not holding anything. But because Link is in the state that he's holding something, he's not allowed to walk through a doorway because the game now thinks he's holding something. It's a conundrum that can't be fixed except for resetting the game, which isn't hard to do. So I got the shovel in there. That's useful for like one item check, I think. Most of that stuff was junk, but we'll move on. Buy an item from him for 100 bucks. That's the boots. Probably one of the most handy items in the randomizer. You'd never know how much you missed this item until you had to play through the entire game without it. And oh, when I'm dashing, you can see that lag. You can see it very clearly. Yeah, with the dash boots, we can actually get the item that's in here. I don't know why it's lagging. It wasn't lagging on this emulator before. Another heart. Okay, so we won't have to fear dying anytime soon. Oh, well, great. Yeah, that's great. Well, I just wasted my time. Okay. Now, we go back to Link's house because there's a... If you thought we were done with item collections, we are not done with item collections. Normally, on a run, you would head straight to Eastern Palace from here because there's not really much more for you to do. But because all the items are randomized, there's a lot of other checks we can do. Because in the original game, you can get 2 more heart pieces and the ice rod. And there's a bunch of other junk checks along the way. But in the randomizer, there's no such thing as a junk item check, so... Okay, so something interesting. When Link pushes a block, while he's pushing the block technically doesn't exist. And Link is still able to use his items while pushing a block, the sub-command items. So if you use the hookshot while pushing a block, you can actually hookshot through the block, and that's what I did there, to avoid having to leave and exit again. Or leave and enter again. So we just got the gloves, now let Link pick up rocks, so... We're gonna see what we can do here. Okay, so this next cave has, like, a ridiculous ton, and I'm actually kind of afraid to pick up this bomb. I'm gonna be afraid to pick up items all over the place now, because I'm lagging at just the right kind of frames to cause that kind of a glitch. I have never even heard of that kind of a glitch being possible in the game, and I don't know if anybody's ever discovered a glitch like that. I may have been the first person to discover that. I don't know. I really don't. We'll just have to see. I'm not going to claim ownership over that glitch, though. Okay, I don't even know how that glitch happened. So we got the blue mail, that doubles your defense. You don't typically get it too really late. The bow, which is really handy. Now all we need to do to beat Eastern Palace is get the lamp. Because that'll let us access the dark rooms in Eastern Palace. Technically, you can do it without the lamp if you know where you're going, but we're going to try and avoid breaking through the logic, because the game itself runs on a logic system. It prevents the game from putting items or locking particular progression behind an area that you literally can't reach. So if you can't reach an area because you don't have an item, odds are that item is somewhere else that you can reach. If not, then it's locked behind an area that's locked behind another item that you can reach. So it's like a long string of items you pick up to get the right item so you can access it. For example, the lamp could be anywhere on Death Mountain, even though technically it is lamp locked. If you get the flute and activate the flute, you can go to Death Mountain without the lamp, and thus the lamp would be on Death Mountain. So, that's the logic for that. Hammer, we have our Dark World access. We can reach Dark World. And with the number of hearts we have, it'll be pretty simple to do things in the Dark World. So I'm going to go ahead and reset and start from Sanctuary, because it's faster than walking all the way back. Not to mention you get a free heal every time if you just talk to the old man. So, another thing I forgot to do is check the map, because as you can see, even the drops from the specific dungeons are randomized. So you have the 3 pendants, blue, red, and green. Those are randomized. And all the crystals are randomized as well. The 2 crystals you need to access the silver arrows and the gold sword from the vanilla game, the ones from Misery Mire and Ice Palace, those are locked, those are highlighted as red crystals, and so you can get those. Another thing worth mentioning is once I do gain Death Mountain access, because I have both the hammer and the hookshot, I do not need the mirror to reach the Tower of Hera. I can just go through East Death Mountain to reach the Tower of Hera. So I'm going to head into the Dark World. I may just do Thieves Town first, as the first dungeon that I do. So, we're going to see how things play out. Okay. Should probably check the Dark World map here. Okay, so Thieves Town has the red crystal. Turtle Rock has... Oh no, Thieves Town has a red pendant. Turtle Rock has the other red crystal. And the green pendant is in Misery Mire. Okay, that's everything. The rest are just normal crystals. Alright, there's a bunch of items we can get in Village of Outcasts before I do Thieves Town. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to do Thieves Town anyway. 50 rupees, and there's a lamp. Eastern Palace is now in Logic. So is Death Mountain. So yeah, this is a great seed. I've been getting a lot of items that are absolutely necessary. Straight off the bat, the game's not going hard on me for defensive features either. Giving me basically a perfect match of everything I possibly could need so far. I haven't run into a block where I can't figure out where to go next. So that's really good. There's one more item here I can check before doing Thieves Town, and that's in here. No, normally the two chests in the C-shaped house and this one are 300 rupees in the original game, but minimized, so. Ah! Love that blue mail. Ten arrows. Useless jump. It's pretty simple. There's 4 chests in front. It's pretty simple to clear Thieves Town. Even in the vanilla game, I typically do Thieves Town early because you get the Titan Mitts from it. And the Titan Mitts let you just go and get so many items really early. And you become so overpowered for the other 2 dungeons that you could do before Thieves Town. And it's totally worth going to Thieves Town early. And it's an easy dungeon to complete. Half magic. So that'll make it to where every magic item only costs half the magic it normally does. It also refills my magic when I get it, so that's pretty handy. So, head up to here. Ow. Walk in through here. Okay, so these Stalfos here, they jump away from you. You just kind of want to get really close. Or you can hit them with sword beams. That works. The back side of this is a bit more complicated than the front, but in general it's pretty simple to solve. If you happen to have the hookshot, which if you follow the normal game's logic you would have, you can go through here. And you can just hookshot through this set of rooms. Ow. Ow. Okay. So, that spike room's pretty easy to get to. This game is not hard to play by any means. The only hard part about this game would probably be the last dungeon. I really don't like going through Ganon's tower. It's confusing, and on the randomizer it's even harder because you could end up with all sorts of trouble trying to find the big key for it. Okay, so you want to bomb that. Ow. Oh, you see the spikes are causing the game to lag. These enemies are causing it to lag. Every time I notice the lag, I just start noticing how bad it's been lagging. Go down here. Here. Ow! I'm bad with this game. I'm just really bad at it. Okay, silver arrows. That just basically gave me one of the strongest items in the game. The silver arrows kill almost everything in a single hit. So, I'm not heading to the big chests, even though I do have the big key, because I can't actually get into that room. I need a key to open it. And the last item location left to check is the item that the boss drops, because the heart containers are randomized, if you hadn't already noticed. So we're going to do the blind boss fight. There's actually a very simple way to fight this boss. There's just a set of motions you follow. And I haven't completely memorized the motions you follow. As you will see during this fight, I am going to take an awful lot of damage. Especially once it starts lagging and there's too much going on here. There we go. It's not a complicated boss fight, but it's not the easiest boss fight either. Okay, so the key to the chest the key to the big chest room is in the big chest, so I don't ever have to worry about going in there. We completed Thieves Town. I think I'll go for a little bit longer. I don't know. We've got the fire rod, so makes sense to go and do Skullwoods as well. Ah, no, you thief! Thief, no! No! I'm hating those lagging frames. I don't know why it's doing that. It didn't used to do that. I used to get perfectly good frames. I don't know why it keeps lagging on me. I don't know if the final product's going to even have lag. I apologize if there is, but I don't know what I can do to fix it. It might be a setting. It might just be my computer's too weak, but I don't have a particularly weak computer. So, let's see. Compass. I'm just gonna immediately leave and drop down here. the things about this dungeon that you may never have known. So in the Japanese 1.0 version, the version I'm playing right now, Link can still get hit or touched by enemies while in the falling animation. You know, the animation plays while he's falling down a pit. And if you just so happen to have a Wall Master, which is an enemy that literally resets the dungeon from when you last entered it, and throws you back in the entrance you just entered. If you happen to touch a Wall Master while doing that, you literally get sent back to the dungeon, even though you are falling. That was fixed in the American release, so you don't have any of those annoying master hand grabs that are completely unfair grabs. Interestingly enough, no matter what setting you have, that chest will always be a key, because it's technically possible to be in that room without a key and not be able to leave, even though you can just, reset and leave that way. I'm guessing it's probably originally designed as a time save, so you don't waste your time going or having to travel all the way back, because resetting puts you back at a starting point, which there's 4 starting points in the game. We've already seen 2 of them, and the other 2 unlock based on what you do. And those Gibdos take a ridiculous amount of damage to kill, and they deal out just as much. Okay, so the idea of this one, you push the statue on, well, you pull the statue on the switch because you want to be on the other side of the statue. But this one particular master, but this one particular wall master, just, it's like he enjoys tormenting the player. Oh, the lag. I hate it. It's like, it's only for like a few frames and then it stops lagging. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I'm wondering if it's even a problem with the game I'm playing. I don't know. Maybe something's running in the background on my computer. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. So, in case you're short a key, there's a key here in this upper left corner. That key opens the key at the top there, but there's nothing up there, so you just save the key for later use. And we're about to approach the boss. Interestingly enough, this dungeon can be completed without the boss key, or without the big key. The big key could be in the big key chest. Who knows? We'll find out. There's one more chest I can reach before heading to the boss. And then there's the boss item. So there's 2 item checks before I have just the big key and the big key chest. So we'll find out then. Somehow that fireball can go through a solid wall, because there's a wall under there that Link can't walk through. And the fireball can go right through it for some reason. But I've always been confused by that, but oh well. Heart container, so we got more health. Now, normally I've seen people killing themselves at this point so that they can just return to the beginning of this particular area of the dungeon. But I don't like the idea of killing Link for, like, no reason, and at this point I want to have as much health as possible for Mothula, and you'll never start the game with full health once you get your first heart container. Like, if you still have 3 hearts, then yeah, you'll start with full health, but if you've already, if you've at least gotten 1 heart container, you'll never start the game with full health. Oh, come on. Wow, that's a twofer. Okay, so the whole gimmick with this room is you have to light all 4 torches, the half magic, and the fire rod. Easy to go through here. As quickly as possible. It's a good idea to... You have to... You have to cut the ropes on the top. Now, in this room, just simply kill the Gibdo, and he will always drop the key. He's always holding the key. Now, this is the room where you need to be careful, because there is a wall master in this room, and he can grab you while you're falling. And falling down there literally leads to the boss fight. And I don't think I can do the boss fight, because I don't think I have enough health to do the boss fight. I'm gonna have to try, though. I'm gonna have to give it a solid shot. I hate this boss fight. You have to pay attention to literally everything, and there's spikes flying across the stage, and if you hit Mothula into one of the spikes, or touch Mothula, if you hit Mothula into a spike, if you hit Mothula into a spike, Mothula will, Mothula will not take any damage from the hit. It's just pain. As you see, I didn't start with full health. I wanted to have more health than this for the Mothula fight. It is possible to do the Mothula fight without getting hit. Ow. Stupid thing. But it's very hard to pull off. And no, you can't use the lesson learned. You can't use the hook shot to stun Gibdos. Okay, so you go through here. The vine's already cut, so hopefully I can make it. Okay, and the door's already unlocked, so I can easily make it to the door without getting hit. This time I've got a lot more health. This boss fight should be a lot easier. Problem is I'm short on magic, so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and limit myself to Master Sword and Hammer for this fight. As you can see there, Mothula got hit, didn't actually take any damage because Mothula touched a spike. Come on, get down here, Mothula. This the floor between the moving floor and the spikes that are flying across the floor is almost impossible to get through this boss fight without getting hit. And with as much damage as you take when you do get hit, because even with a blue mail, it does not protect you from the spikes! The spikes still do a whole heart of damage. You can see why I hate this boss fight. There are 2 boss fights in this game that I really just don't like. One is just a kind of mild annoyance, and then there's the one I absolutely hate, which is Mothula. The mild annoyance one is Moldorm from Tower of Hera. And the reason I get mildly annoyed with Moldorm is because Moldorm can knock you off of the boss platform, which resets the whole boss fight. You literally have to do the entire boss fight from scratch all over again. So, yeah, it's not fun. Okay, so this time I've got full health. Oh, and I didn't wanna get grabbed by that wall master. Stupid No, I couldn't move because of the stupid moving floor. I literally couldn't move out of that spike's way. Oh, are you kidding me? Get out of that corner, Mom. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to switch to the fire rod. Get down here. Got him! Finally! I hate that boss. And I hate this lag! The Skull Woods is cleared. That's good. Okay. And okay. So I'm gonna call this video here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And please be sure to let me know what you guys think and how you guys feel about it. I want to know what you guys' opinions are. Alright? I'll see ya.